Well, if we're gonna find any ghosts, we better split up.
You're listening to Never Split Up, a horror movie podcast.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Never Split Up podcast. We have a very special guest today. We are one short, but we have a third member. Welcome, Thom Newell. How are you today?
Oh, well, first off, it's Tom.
Tom? Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's great.
He's tricking you already. His Ghostface
Tricking me already.
Yeah.
The TH. I was like, I thought it was, okay. All right.
No, I hate to say this, but it's like Tom York, but I chose this by myself in kindergarten. I assumed that he was famous already, but I had no idea, you know.
Yeah. Well, my apologies for getting it incorrect.
All good. Don't worry about it. Not the first person or the last, I'm sure. So.
Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Tom is one of the Ghostfaces in Scream 6. He doesn't make it too far. He plays Greg Bruckner in Scream 6. He doesn't make it out of that kitchen, unfortunately, but we're so happy to have you here, especially leading up to Scream 7. So much to talk about. But I guess to start, just in general, what is your relationship with horror, and do you like scary movies?
Sure. Do you like scary movies? Yes. I love them. And I'm a professional filmmaker. I'm not an actor. So that I think that little piece of me in Scream 6 would largely be considered a cameo of all things. I've worked with Radio Silence, the directors Tyler and Matt, on a number of projects over the years. And Scream 6 happens to have, I think, a number of sort of alums of people who've worked with them as little nods and such. Even my name, Greg Bruckner, is named after David Bruckner, who's another part of our little group of we all come from the VHS franchise, if you guys are familiar with that. So, yeah, so I'm a director of mostly shorts, horror shorts, and then the day job, as it were, is I'm an editor. I edit feature films and television. Sometimes I go out of genre, but I do my best to stay inside the genre world. So yeah, that's what I do.
Love that. So did you start... You met Radio Silence because of your editing on VHS? I saw your whole filmography. You're involved in a lot of the VHS movies.
Yeah. So I started on the second one. And I was on a film called You're Next, if you guys are familiar with that. It's the first movie I ever worked on. I was the assistant editor on that, and Adam and Simon, so Adam Wingard, the director, Simon Barrett, the producer-writer, they went off and made this little movie like on the side that nobody knew about, and it was VHS while we were just finishing up You're Next. Obviously, it became a hit. Went to festivals. I'm pretty sure it was Sundance and all that kind of stuff. And so the team got together to shoot VHS 2 in secret. So it was just like announced after it was done. And I was right there. So they just asked if I wanted to come along, and I did. And then, Southbound came around after VHS Viral, and Southbound is not VHS film, but was mostly VHS alums in the many of the larger creative roles and a lot of the crew roles. And so VHS we thought was done at that point, and so this was just, what else can we do? That's where I really got to meet the Radio Silence guys, and found out that Tyler and Matt and I all lived at that time, 3 or 4 blocks from each other, and we all went to the same bar and just hadn't really crossed paths. So we effectively became drinking buddies for a while, and became very good friends, and then, continued to work together. And Scream 6 came around, and that's the current culmination of our professional work so far. So.
That's awesome. What's your favorite VHS movie? I need to know. Can you answer that? Because mine's 2. Mine's still 2 to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a controversial opinion. I think 2 is the best one. No shade towards any of them. Even the what you could call the lesser ones have really strong segments. There's not a single VHS movie that's not worth your time if you're into that kind of thing. But I think 2 is really, really special. I think that I'm very proud of the work that I was able to put into it with the teams that I was on. But at that point, we were making them relatively separately, like the segments, like we just weren't interacting with each other that much, and you would just lay off your piece and send it to the producers, and that was sort of that. And I think it was very DIY in a way that they just aren't anymore, and that's fine. I know the people. I mean, I've still been working on them. I know the people who are the higher creatives now, and the franchise grew, so the idea behind the franchise had to grow. But there's something really special about the ones where we're really getting our dirt under our fingernails. I mean, Simon's. He did the wraparound for the second one, and I was on set for that. That was just an Airbnb that we like. Our production designer came in, Tom Hammock, and designed that like the day of, I'm pretty sure. And then that's just like, it looks great, you know? So, and then the closet at the final scare for his, where the guy's like shot his face off. I don't know if I mean, I'm sure I can say this, but like that was Simon's closet at his house. So like, because the Airbnb closet didn't fit. So it's like, we like, swingled the camera over, and then we moved over to Simon's house and just got a better closet, and that's like, I don't know, it's really cool.
It's a movie magic.
Down and dirty.
Yeah.
Oriana, do you watch that franchise too? What's your favorite one?
Probably the second one. I know.
It's so good. Just the stories in that one, they connect so good at the end, and each of them make such a lasting impact.
They're all, but individually, they're all good in their own way. So,
yeah. So you're I feel like we talk about like stars and directors and writers, but we never talk about editing. You're like the unsung hero of so many movies. So talk a little bit about like maybe the differences on certain projects, or what you do to the general audience who don't like, editing, that's nothing. Like, just explain like your process maybe.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a weird thing to describe, because technically speaking, all I do is I take the clips and put them next to each other, and it's digital. So I just do it all in the timeline on the computer, and then I press export, right? That's the down and dirty version. But at the end of the day, what I usually try to define my role as, because I'll interview for new projects, and so I do need to speak with my directors and my producers about what I do and what they can expect from me, is that I'm there often to protect the director's vision. So I'll have a lot of meetings prior to the film. If I'm brought on early enough, I'm giving notes on the script. And then usually these days, it's not always the case, but most of the time, as they're shooting, the footage gets uploaded, and I'm editing it the next day. And so my director and I are usually like calling each other, and they can get sort of almost live feedback on what they're getting. And sometimes if there are issues, I say, we need this, or I think we want this. Other times the director, maybe they're lacking confidence because they had to rush through a scene, and then I go through the dailies and I say, oh, we got all the pieces you're talking to me about, let me just put it together, and then as far as like the actual, like that sort of protecting the vision, the way that it works is usually the editor gets an editor's cut, and that's my personal cut that only the director ever sees. It's never great because it's the long version, it's the first pass. But then we get director's cut, and we spend a few weeks on a movie. You'll get a few weeks on a show. You get a few days, but you go in with the director, just them privately. At the most, your assistant editor will also be there, but it's a room of 2 or 3 people, and you try stuff out, right? And you break the movie and put it back together again, and you try to make it better every day. And then at the end of that is the director's cut, at which point the producers get involved. And that's where a lot of like the protecting of the director's vision comes in. Sometimes it comes in during the director's cut because the director might have a lot of options because they shot a lot of footage, and you have to say like, this shot doesn't belong in our film. And on my current film that I'm editing right now, there were lines that were repetitious, and they were in the script, but they didn't feel repetitious. But then all of a sudden you hear the intonation of the actor, and you're like, do we have to have them say this because it sounds like that, and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, you take it out to try to make the movie feel better. And then ultimately you see it through fruition, through the sound mix, VFX, all that kind of stuff. You sort of try to be the director's right-hand person, and that's the creative way of saying it. But yeah, the down and dirty is put clips next to each other in a timeline. So
you're like the director's best friend, sounds like.
Right.
But yes.
I'm a huge fan of Sean Byrne. I saw that you're an assistant editor on The Devil's Candy. So I just have to say, Oriana, we have to cover that one because we covered the
We
loved
do.
ones. We all love it.
Yeah.
I love Dangerous Animals, but Devil's Candy has a
Yes.
special place in my heart, and that one is super tight. So I feel like the editing on that one was so crucial. So kudos to you, but maybe talk a little bit about the experience on that because I think that's one of the best edited horror movies in the last decade.
That was a great film. I actually covered the main assistant editor on that. So Nils Arrington was the main assistant on that. And so I only came in at the end for a few days. I forget why Nils was out of the office. We had worked together before. That was produced by Student Entertainment, who did Your Next and did other productions that I was involved with. But I was lucky. I got to meet Sean, and we were very, very near the end of the process when I was on. So we were choosing music, which of course was very, very important for that. We were at that point, if I remember correctly, because this is a long time ago, but we were laying in final VFX, giving those final notes, because sometimes you're really worried if something's going to work until you actually see it working. You can believe in it all you want until the piece is actually in. And so and it was just that was I believe when I was on that project, did Sean edit it or was there another editor? Because I forget now. But
I think he edited it too.
I think he was the editor because there was no editor at the station, so I was driving. That's what we call it when you're like playing it back for everybody, and it was just Sean and the producers, and I just did very, very, very temp laying in of things, and then when all that was done, as the assistant made sure that our finishing team got all the assets, got all the paperwork, all that kind of stuff. But it was really fun to watch them go back and forth because I also hadn't seen the movie yet. I was familiar with it. I know that they're making it, but I hadn't seen it yet, and so I'm just in there watching it with them, getting surprised while they've all seen it 100 times, right? And it's so whatever to them, but that is also like that movie sticks to your ribs. You know what I mean?
Ethan Embry. Speaking of Ethan Embry, he's in Scream 7, but so good. I love that movie so much. I guess before we get into the horror and Scream of it all, what was it like working with Don Mancini on the Chucky series? That's pretty cool. Another iconic franchise.
Yeah, I couldn't say a bad thing about Don. He's obviously a bit of an icon, and I was relatively embarrassed, but I still did it. Where I told him on my last day on the first season, because we didn't know if we were going to get a second season, and we were in the Bay, but it was all remote because it was COVID era. And I just said, "Hey, Don," and it was just him and me. I think we had to like break open the cut to like change a visual effect or something. So it was just him and me on the Zoom, nobody else. And I was like, "Don, I didn't know if I was going to say this, but like, just so you know, you gave me nightmares as a kid. And Chucky was definitely my boogeyman. And so like, I really, really tried hard to get on that show. And I was very, very happy that I did. In fact, when they announced it, I remember, I don't know what social media platform I was using at the time, but let's just say I tweeted out something along the lines of, if anyone knows Don Mancini, I want to get on this Chucky show. And it came up in like a reminder, and I texted it to him. And I was like, hey, 5 years before we worked together, I sent this out into the universe. And he was like, good job. So he's very, very kind. He's creative as hell. And as a showrunner, he runs a really tight ship, which is really great. So like, you get to have the fun of doing all that crazy shit because that show is bonkers. And then it's also like your working atmosphere is very professional. Like you have all the tools that you need. The team is great. Our supervising editor was Randy Bricker, who edited Bride of Chucky and Cult of Chucky. He edited Halloween 6. He edited Texas Chainsaw 3D. Randy's another guy that I was just like, just so you know, bud, like it's been so nice to work with you and meet you because I've seen all your stuff. I own most of it on Blu-ray. And he was like, you watch this stuff?
Did you feel it was more challenging doing a TV show versus a movie? Or just one big movie, pretty much, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think it's more challenging. I think it's always project specific because, like, I don't know, like sometimes movies can be relatively easy because all the pieces are coming together and your team's amazing, but that's rare. That's a couple times ever. TV, by the nature of what it is, even though it's really hectic and really fast, has to be really well organized. So you always have a large team to fall back on. So that's really nice. Often when I'm on a movie, like right now, I'm in my edit bay all day on my film, and it's just me and my director over Zoom, and I don't see another human being. But if I'm on a TV show, like we have a team, and I have a coordinator and a supervisor and an assistant and other editors and the showrunner as well as the director, and it's like I get to interact with all these people. Neither is good or bad, because you can also probably hear that there might be a lot of cooks in the kitchen on one of those. But yeah, it's project specific, because also like Chucky, I would say hard show, a lot of stuff going on. Story wise, creative was honestly a little difficult because there's so many characters and they, I think, did a really good job of like fleshing out the ensemble every season. But then there's also a ton of visual effects, and again, you don't really know if something's going to work until you start getting that stuff in. But it was one of the best, certainly like top tier work that for me. Like it was a great experience and a great team. So I hope they're listening to this podcast, because if they make something else,
I just think he's so crazy with his ideas. I can only imagine how challenging it can be, because that's why it's so special, because that franchise never does the same thing. Yeah. So it's so kooky. I love him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he holds himself to a really high standard. So he was great to work for in that way.
Well, it's good to hear that someone who's making these horror movies and such a legend is actually a nice person too. I love that.
Yeah, he's great. He's really nice. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's all name what's your favorite scary movie? I'm Casey Becker, so mine's Halloween. What's yours, Oriana?
Oh, I'm gonna be cliche, but it's what I got. Why I love horror, and it's Scream.
All right, 2 good answers. All right, Tom, your turn. What's your favorite scary movie?
Almost always disappoints people, but I feel very confident with this. It's The Bride of Frankenstein, James Whale.
Okay,
from 30.
Classic.
Yeah, it really got me into scary movies, and I still love it. I think it's got a lot of worth today still. So, is
that the first horror movie you saw?
Certainly would have been very, very close.
Okay.
Yeah, it's either that or, I mean, maybe, no, I definitely saw it before I saw Gremlins, but I was too young. I was not too young to watch any of the Universal classics, but I was way too young to see Gremlins when I did that.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
What's your favorite franchise then?
That's, yeah, man. It's really, any day is going to be different between the two, I'm going to say. And it's either going to be Nightmare on Elm Street or Scream. I think
Wes Craven, baby.
Yeah, I love Wes. He is like top 5 directors for me, period. Like not with the genre asterisks on it or anything like that. Love his work. Always loved like reading things he wrote, watching his interviews. And yeah, Nightmare, I think conceptually I prefer. Especially the bookend really of the first one and New Nightmare. But there's something about the Scream franchise as a whole that is maybe more consistent than every other horror franchise with their ups and downs. And Scream has its ups and downs, but its highs are really high and its lows are just not that low. So yeah, there's something really special about that, because I just don't think, I mean, even loving Nightmare, there are some pretty low lows in there.
Scream is my favorite franchise, hands on. I always say that your least favorite Scream movie is still a great slasher movie versus the lows of so many other franchises. So I'm like,
absolutely,
if my least favorite's this one, it's still a great slasher movie. So that's why I always say, I agree, it's the most consistent slasher franchise of all time. 30 years ongoing. I love it so much.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so getting into Scream 6, I guess. So I guess you got involved. How involved on the set were you? Because you are really just, a prop in the fridge.
Yeah.
And how was the collaboration with Radio Silence? Tell us how you got involved in everything. It's so fascinating.
Great. So I was not on set. So there's the first one. But basically what happened was I had sent the Radio Silence guys a pitch for a short film that I was going to direct. It's out now. It's on YouTube, or if you Google it. But don't Google it at work. It's called Full Moon Glory Hole. And it's exactly what you think it is.
We'll remember that.
Love that.
It's exactly what you think it is. And but I had done during COVID, I had created a webcomic with a friend who's a comic artist, and so I ended up adapting it into a short film, and was really looking to I make a lot of horror shorts, but to make like the one that sort of bounces up, that was a bit bigger than everything else. And so I talked to them about it, and one of the producer, Chad Villela, just called me over one day, and the fact of the matter is I where they were sound mixing Scream 6 is literally across the street from my apartment. So I walked into the parking lot just like after dinner one night, and they were mixing it, and I couldn't go in because it's like locked down. I've seen the guys there and stuff, but like you can't go in there. And so Chad just like pitched me in the parking lot. So I gave him the pitch. I emailed them my pitch materials, the deck, the comic, the script, my goals with it, all that kind of stuff. And I think out of respect for me as a coworker, colleague, all that, they were just like, we're gonna look it over and we're gonna think about it. It wasn't like an automatic like we're gonna help you out with this. And then it's like a week later, and I just get a text from Matt, and it just says, you want to be in Scream 6. And this is January, and this comes out in March or something. And I was like, okay. And they didn't really tell me much. They were like, we need a picture of you. And I thought I just had to send them a picture. Found out I had to go into the office, so I drove into the office on my lunch break. I was working on a TV show at that time, so I had my break. And I drove into the office, and the post soup meets me there. I'm Tom, and I forget who the post soup was, but they bring me back to like the lunch area, and it looks like American Psycho, and it's this fucking green screen, and then the floor is just covered in like rain ponchos. And the guy's like, "Do you know why you're here?" And I was like, "They told me I'm gonna take some pictures." And I'm like this or something, I came from work. I'm dressed like regular. So Tyler and Matt come out, and they're just laughing. They're not even like, and then they're just like, well, let's tell them what's happening. And at that point, they told me that I'm Greg Bruckner, named after Dave, that my head is going to be cut off. They showed me the raw footage so that I could see what it looked like. And then I just, I took my shirt off, put on a rain poncho. They just painted blood all over my face and put me in the little green screen tent like this on like a box. My wife is there just laughing. And as they're blooding me up, Tyler just is chuckling, and he's just like, well, I guess we have to produce a short film now. And so that's how that came about. And ultimately then, after I was painted up, the VFX artist came over, and he's just like, all right, how much time do I have? He's setting lights. And I was like, I got to be back at the office in 45 minutes, and I have to be clean. And he was like, what? And it worked. And it was one of those things that like, it wasn't even guaranteed to be me. There was like, they were trying to figure out how to do this. And it was either going to be me or there was some sort of like a practical false head that they were trying as well to get in there. And it ended up being me. And once that got close, they asked for some more pictures, which were like the police photos and the ID on the phone. I sent all that, and I didn't know what was going on. I had to sign an NDA. I didn't know what was going on. And then it's like the day before or 2 days before the movie comes out, Matt texts me, and I'm getting texts the whole time from him and Tyler, and they're just like, "You're all over this movie, dude." And they're good buds, and they'll lie to me to my face. That's very ridiculous. So I didn't tell anybody about this because I was like, I'm gonna tell all my friends that I'm in Scream 6. And I'm not gonna be in it, and this is gonna be some major prank. And so it's like the day or two before, Matt texts me, and he says, "Low-key, you're a Ghostface." And I said, "Aha, sure." And then I watched the movie, and lo and behold, I'm the worst Ghostface. But yeah, it was very fun. And then I have since, it's weird because I live in Hollywood, like the neighborhood of Hollywood. Tony Revolori goes to my gym, and so
that's hilarious.
Now met each other, and I walked up to him one day, and you're not really supposed to do that because it's especially when people are working out. But he put on his brave face, ready to sign somebody's autograph or whatever. And I was like, I know I'm bothering you. I don't want to, but like, I played your roommate in Scream 6, and he looked, and he's like, Greg. And so it was a weird little experience. And that's that. And it really is my 15 minutes of fame. I work in the film industry, but I'm very purposely behind the scenes. But here I am doing a podcast interview. I've signed autographs at this point. So it's like a weird little thing.
That's awesome.
You're
in
also
front of the camera.
You are also on, they have the 30-year anniversary t-shirt, and they have all the victims of Ghostface. You are on there.
I got one.
So you have made it to the,
You're
on the kill tour. You're on the kill tour.
Right?
An email from Paramount like a month ago, and they were like, we'd like your address if you'd like some swag. And I think it was like in return for, Greg Bruckner's iconic kill. And I emailed them back, and I was like, Thank you for calling it iconic. Sure, I'll take the free swag.
That hot and cold sequence is like one of my favorite parts of the opening, and just you're in front of the
Oh,
camera,
yeah.
you're also in a bunch of different pieces, so you really make a showing power in that show. But what does it feel like? So not only are you part of the Ghostface legacy, but I don't know if you know this, but you're the only character. But Stephen Orth, he's killed. I would say he's killed on screen because he gets stabbed and we see him die. But you're the only character in the franchise to be killed off screen.
I mean, what about Maureen Prescott?
Well, I mean, she was never really in. Come on, you're an active part of the movie. Come on.
She was before.
She was before
all
the
of
timeline
that.
started.
It was still before the inciting incident with the...
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
exactly.
I didn't mean to be that guy. We're not.
I like it though. Oh, you're testing
Yeah.
us. I like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I hadn't thought of it like that. I had really thought of the whole idea of just literally being the worst Ghostface because only one with no lines and no kills. But it's the whole thing is fun and funny. I love that the kill itself. We did talk about this, that it is an homage to Friday the 13th Part 2.
Okay.
And again, like Dave is one of my best friends, so to be have the character named after him that I'm playing in a weird way is very fun. And yeah, it's just like one of those weird things where your friends made a Scream movie. I'm also really like old friends with Jasmine Savoy Brown as well. I introduced her.
Okay.
So like it's just this weird thing where like I know all these people who are a part of this thing that I grew up with that I do think of as iconic, right?
It's so iconic. Like Scream's such a big family, and you're also like Scream's known for opening scenes, and you're in an opening scene of one of the most iconic slasher franchises. That's a big deal.
It's pretty fun. And again, like I was surprised. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't even know that I would be in the open, right?
Yeah.
And so it just starts happening. They told me that once I saw my face on the phone, which I was looking at the phone screens, and obviously it happens relatively early, that was the scene I was in. That's all I knew. And so when that started happening, I was with my wife and I squeezed her arm. But yeah, and then of course it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. Another funny story. It's a little morbid, but you guys can cut it out if it's too much.
We like morbid.
A few months after it
Very
came
much
out,
so.
I forget exactly, but let's just say like 3 months after the movie came out, my grandfather passed away, and so I flew back home to go to his funeral. And there's a bunch of people there, certainly like my relatives and stuff that I know, but there were a bunch of people like neighbors and such I hadn't seen in many years. People I hadn't seen since I was a kid. My grandpa's funeral, he was a very jovial guy, so it was a sad day, but we're also trying to make our jokes. People were just coming up to me being like, I heard you were in this Scream movie. Were you in Scream? My aunt had the photo, because it had already gotten online, of my decapitated head saved on her phone. It was just showing everybody. And it's like, I don't know, man, that's pretty ubiquitous. That's pretty zeitgeisty right there. It's like I worked really hard for many, many years to just pay my bills as an editor. But yes, I did an unpaid cameo in a Scream movie. Thank you very, very much. It's very cool.
Your family sounds awesome, like my kind of people.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your favorite Scream opening? Since you're part of the opening scene, what's your favorite? Is it the OG, like everyone?
Here's the thing. I don't want to give you a boring answer. Okay, that's not what we're here for. So let's start a fight, guys.
Okay.
All right.
The real one, that's the best one, is the OG. It is a complete short film in and of itself. But let's forget about that one for a minute. Scream 3, killing Cotton, and knowing the whole thing is going to happen. Because at that point, right, Scream 2 starts, and if you're not familiar yet or whatever, you don't know what's all going. You're like, Jada Pinkett's going to be in this, and then obviously she dies, and you're like, oh, okay, so that's the thing, right? And then the third one happens, and as soon as it starts, Cotton's there, and you're like, no, he had a full redemption arc, and he's gonna die, and it's brutal, and it's a little sad, So I think it's a really, really great opener.
Like you make such a good point because he's the only returning character besides Jenna Ortega's character, and who comes in a little flash in 6, but he's the only returning character in the opening, and he does die. So it's like, no, we have a character we've grown to like finally, and he's just killed right off.
Yep, yeah, and it's great. It was a great move. I think it was really good for that character. I would have loved to have seen more Cotton Weary, full arc. He's in all three of the first ones, right? Even barely that first one, but he's there, and it's, I don't know, there's something pretty neat about that. So, and it got me the first time I saw it. So
I love
Right?
that answer.
You don't
Yeah, I think
expect to.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you don't expect to lose him right off the bat in the opening, but once you see him in the opening, you're like, goodbye, Cotton.
Honestly, once I saw him in that white outfit, I'm like, oh, he's gonna get bloodied up.
Oh yeah,
he's dying.
Yeah.
So what about, again, not to be the boring answer, but my favorite Ghostface is Billy Loomis. But I'm Billy Loomis, and then Mickey is my number 2, and then Roman's my number 3. So what are your top 3 Ghostfaces?
Okay, I tell you what, I know my top 2 because it's always sort of a fight for which one I actually love more. But I'm pretty sure the first one I'm going to say. But I'm not sure I've ranked to 3 before. But my favorite is Stu. I think it's really fun. It's very camp without not being scary. Like it's funny, and his sense of humor in that first film is scary. Number 2, I think, really with a bullet, and sorry to Billy, is Jill. I mean, I just like her monologue at the end. I love. I also remember not really expecting her to be it. And then of course just the nature of that film, you sort of think she gets away with it until she doesn't. And I don't know. I think that's super fun, and she's really bitchy, and I just really, really like her as a Ghostface.
And
yeah, I mean, if I was going to go with a third, I mean, the top of my mind, this might not be accurate if you ask me another day, but would be Mrs. Loomis.
Love that answer. I love her so much.
Yes.
Scream 2 is my baby, so.
I love Scream 2, and she was a surprise. And she really is sort of, it's this weird thing where she's effectively a third act reveal, but she's also there the whole time. So, yeah, you're surprised. Yeah.
So you must be really excited for 7 with Stu.
Yeah, so I haven't watched the trailers because I will go and see it. I have my ticket already, but I just sort of try to avoid marketing for movies I already know that I want to see.
I like that.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Good.
I think Stu's dead, and so I haven't seen the marketing, so I don't know if he's alive. I just know that Matthew Lillard is in the film. I also know Matthew Lillard's in like 4 of them, so I don't know what's going on.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Billy's whatever spirit, as it were,
Ghost
is in these other ones. So I don't know what they're doing. I will be there, and I will find out with everyone else. They didn't call me, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, now I like even more because I'm also in the Stu is dead camp. I don't want him. I feel like it just makes no sense.
I never thought of it as a question. It was like, I don't know, it was like 2015 I heard that for the first time, and I was like, what do you guys talk about?
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Yeah. But I also love Jill's number 2.
Yeah.
I love that she just kicks the shit out of herself. I feel like that's what makes Scream 4 just how like meta it was at the time and how relevant it is still to this day. But just watching her kick little Emma Roberts just kick the shit out of herself just makes me laugh every time.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's also, again, it's violent, and it's also smart.
Yeah.
I always think of the scene where she's like holds the knife up and just like rams herself. Like she really was like a little very, very unhinged.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's
what about you, Oriana? What are your top 3 ghost faces? Yeah.
Oh, hands down, Billy Loomis. Secondary boring. Is Stu. Like I love Stu. And then Mickey. I love Mickey. I think Mickey is just, he had no reason to really want to do this other than to do it. So, so he's always been my fave.
Oh, I love that. All right. Now, what about, who is your guys' favorite Scream character in general?
Well, Greg Bruckner.
Oh, wow.
I love that. I was waiting for that. Yes. Right? I'm also boring, and it's my girl, Sidney Prescott, because she's the reason why I love this franchise. She's my favorite final girl.
Yeah.
I mean, Gail's my number. It's the trio that are my favorite, but if I wasn't going to be boring, I really think that Rose McGowan as Tatum is a great supporting character.
Stole mine.
I love her.
Yeah, I mean, the first one is incredible ensemble. So many of them do, though. I think the one that I would want to bring up would be Randy. Especially in the first film. I think his death in the second film is very affecting, and his cameo in the third film I could care less about. But I don't know, there's something special about him in that first film. He really is just like one of us.
I remember feeling so sad in the second one when he died in the van, and I was like, no, not Randy.
Yeah.
But that was before I felt the Dewey
Oh,
absence.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Randy's my man. I just remember seeing Scream 3 for the first time, and I like popped up with joy when I see him like have his little cameo. I'm like, oh, he's back to give the rules one more time.
Yeah.
All right, so now the real question. We're gonna all give our Scream rankings. You can exclude 6 if you want, because I know it's special to you, but it's up to you. But I am gonna I love all of them. So whatever my last place, I still love it. But mine is 2. My favorite's 2, and then 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just kind of, it's all sequential except for 2 and 1. They kind of flip flop. But I love them all so much. I know. I love 6. It's just pedal to the metal action, but you know, my Wes Craven babies.
All good.
Oh, should I go next?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first 3 are untouchable to me. It goes 1,
Yeah.
2, 3 in that exact order, and then it goes 6, 5, 4.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yes, there was something I really liked 6 after like when it sat with me, because I like the bodega scene. I like how it ended. So I felt like it was a little bit different than what we were normally seeing. So that's why it's a little bit higher. But yeah.
Yeah. 6 was like, I feel that it was really the Radio Silence guys getting to make their Scream versus
for sure.
a new Scream movie, which was also the right thing to do for the 5th one. They shouldn't have really gone balls to the wall on that one, right? So I would go 1, then probably 1, 2, 4, 6, 5, 3. So we all have different orders.
That's why I love the franchise, because everyone's like, my ranking's this. I'm like, every ranking is valid because they're all good.
Yeah. A lot of fun. And that's the thing, like, I rank 3 last. I have a very good friend that loves Scream even more than I do, and I know that she always gives me shit for ranking 3 last. But it's just what you said, where like it's like last for a Scream movie, but it's like you know, it's a top tier fun horror comedy. You know what I mean? Like I still pop it on all the time. So no shade to Scream 3.
3's my baby as well. I love it so much.
All
so
your
I guess
babies.
I know the whole franchise is my baby. But so I guess to wrap it up, you said you haven't seen much about 7. What's your excitement level for 7? How do you feel about Kevin Williamson like taking back the franchise and our final girl coming back supposedly, you know, front and center as an actual lead for the first time? I would argue for the first time since, I would say 4 to be nice, but I would say really Scream 3.
Yeah,
It's the first time. She's 25 years.
Yeah. I'm excited. I would have like watched the trailers and stuff if I wasn't stoked. The idea of seeing Kevin come back, I think, is really cool. So I would have loved to have seen Christopher Landon's version. I would have loved to have seen another version by Radio Silence. But I don't know, Kevin. So that's really cool. And also what I love about him is that it's not a comeback. Like Kevin Williamson has been working constantly on like really big zeitgeisty stuff for years. It's just that maybe not the stuff that I was watching more recently. But I don't know if you guys watched, I think it was called Sick, the movie that came out in COVID that John Hyams directed.
So good.
Yeah, it's
so good.
I think I saw an episode.
You think you saw that one? Yeah, it had like it.
I think I saw.
It's basically Scream, but COVID Scream with new stuff. And
one big chase scene, which is my favorite part of slasher movies, and it's a whodunit. So I mean, they knew what they were doing. I actually, before Kevin was announced, after everything, I actually thought that the director from Sick would have been a great choice.
I would have loved that. He directed a few episodes of Chucky. I was lucky enough to work with him, and he's an amazing filmmaker. And I would love to see his Scream movie. So let's put that out. Let's put that out into the universe. Yes. So.
Yeah, we got a few more 8, 9, 10 coming up, hopefully, so we'll see. But
I'm sure.
Are there anything specific you want to see in 7, or any predictions you have, because you haven't seen any of the marketing?
Yeah, so I would say I think they need to kill more main characters. So that's my only thing. I think either Gail or Sydney should die. Excuse me. And so do that what you will. But certainly, and when I say main characters, maybe it's time for Chad to go. You know,
I would agree with one of the twins to
Oh.
go. I feel
and I think Mason does a really good job in these movies, and I like the twins a lot. But that's why I want some people that I really care about. And this franchise is still legacy these days, right? Like it's not. So yes, you're going to kill some of the new people who are on the poster. Great, do that. But I want you to kill somebody who's coming back. I just think that's where things go out the window, and I don't know what to expect once you do that. You know.
Yeah, I think we're due for another gut punch soon in the franchise. Dewey, I'm still recovering from Dewey, but I agree we have to keep the stakes going. But not my Sydney, please.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe Gail might be on the chopping block.
I love her so much.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Like,
I know
you'd want that. I think there could have been something special if Gail had died in the last one, and then Sydney is really on the chopping block for this one, and you don't know, right? Obviously, that's not the case, and we'll see how it all goes. You know, I think introducing Sydney's daughter is it's a new way to introduce a next generation where it stays in the lineage, because of course the thing that kicked it all off was Maureen, and that's this girl's grandma. So maybe somebody like a Sydney could be on the chopping block, even if it would hurt.
It would hurt me the most. Don't take it away from me. Well, I wonder if the opening scene's gonna be as kooky and crazy as yours in 6, because that was a wild one.
Yeah, it feels like the opening scene's got to be. I think I saw before I realized it was like Scream or whatever. I saw like some kids enter the house or whatever. I think I thought it was like an ad or something.
Yeah,
that's got to be the opening scene, right? We must be.
I would assume that we're gonna be that kind of opening scene, kind of Airbnb kind of style sequence. But I'm very excited. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Want to shout out any projects you have coming up and where to follow you on social media?
Sure. Yeah. So the only thing to follow me on social media is so Instagram is at Greg Bruckner. That's I barely post, but if I do, it's mostly about Scream. And then if you just search Thom Newell on Twitter or whatever the fuck it's called these days, it's whatever. But yeah, the biggest thing that came out for me recently was Full Moon Glory Hole. It's online right now. Be careful Googling it. But we are going to be premiering next month, about a month from now. I don't know when this will air, but in early March on Alter, which is a great horror shorts channel up there. And that short is also on Bloodstream TV and Screambox as well. So lots of places to find it if you want to see it. But it's 5 minutes, but legitimately just not safe for work, and don't show your parents. So
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on, the worst Ghostface of all time. And everyone check out Tom's short film, and we'll have to have you back on after Scream 7, maybe.
I love it. I'll give you my reactions and new rankings then.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.